Hello and good morning. Welcome to the last session of our Unit 5 called as Cloud Based Data Science for Malware Detection. So, in this I am going to talk about how the malware can affect on the cloud system, what are the facilities which are available in order to compete about the malware, and how the cloud based security is being achieved. So, with this background, let us start. So, what is cloud based malware detection or malware detection? Malware means any function which is supposed to destroy your system, destroy your hard disk, get some unnecessary information from your system. They are all malware. So, cloud based malware protection system helps to protect endpoint from a high risk file type from external sources such as the internet or a network drive by querying a FortiGuard. I am using a term called FortiGuard. FortiGuard means a FortiGuard device is a security software service available for capabilities to monitor and protect the IT, IoT and out of OT devices and application. So, it is a basically a software which is available to safeguard your applications like IoT or IT application. FortiGuard NOC or COC security services enable faster identification, containment and response to the attack. So, naturally we are going to see a lot of attack when we are coming on the cloud. The problem with the cloud computing is we have different services which are available, public, private and protected. Now, in case of public cloud, there is no security involved or security is left up to the user. Whereas, in case of a private cloud, the security is a feature built by the cloud service provider. So, eventually you have to pay a high price for the services in case of a private cloud. However, services cannot be compromised. So, what we say that we are going to see a term called CSB can identify sensitive data, control access to it and block malicious content and files. So, on the cloud I do not know from which system or where from the information is coming to. So, it is much more difficult to identify the origin of the malware is as a software which is going to trouble me. So, they provide real time threat protection against the best known and unknown malware by using a advanced threat protection techniques such as a machine learning algorithm and behavioral analysis. Now, last time I did explain about the behavioral analytics and machine learning algorithm in our security system. So, let us see what malware detection system in the cloud computing. So, malware for short is called malicious software, refers to any software designed to cause harm to the computer, server, client or the network. So, the intention is to harm your computer, the server, the client or the entire network, let it collapse. The countermeasure to this digital maniac is malware detection. Malware detection is a set of practices aimed to identify the presence and nature of a malware in a system. It is a gatekeeper task which is identifying, isolating and eliminating malicious software that could compromise the integrity of your environment. Okay. So, modern malware detection is very complex, involving multiple techniques and tools designed to address the wide array of malicious software that exists. In fact, every day somebody or the other is writing a malicious software or malware to try to get some benefit from the other computers. So, it is a continual process of vigilance and adaptation, evolving as new types of malware emerge and old ones become more and more sophisticated. So, let us see, I am just showing you a diagram. We have viruses like a ant or like our cockroach, we have worm, Trojan horses, we have viruses available and then we have spywares. So, these are all the problems in our system. Okay. So, let us see the recaption of viruses which I already discussed in the last session too. So, virus is a context of computer inspired by biological viruses, much like the biological counterpart. Computer viruses attach themselves to clean the file and infect the cleaned system. They can spread uncontrollably, damage the system core functionality and delete or corrupt the files. So, they usually appear as a executable file, .exe files are okay. So, .exe file are executable, you can't read, you cannot write. Okay. So, they will be directly executable when they are on a particular date or particular time and require human action to propagate. Okay, so example like Joe's Game Over, a sophisticated variant of the Joe's Trojan that steal banking credentials using a peer-to-peer botnet capability. So when I'm doing a banking transaction software, on a system, the problem comes from the Joe's Game Over. We have another virus or another this thing called as a dark hotel, a cyber espionage campaign targeting hotel Wi-Fi network to spy on a high profile case. So naturally when people go to a hotel, they try to use the Wi-Fi which is given by the hotel. Okay, so that is another trouble. TRADA, that is mobile malware targeting Android devices primarily for a financial fraud and a data theft. So these are some of the viruses. Okay, worms which we have seen last time also. Okay, examples are Stuxnet, Raspberry Robin worm, and Hermetic Wizard. So worms are like a malware that can replicate themselves to spread on a computer system. So like my biological worms, okay, they go on spreading in the entire system, and they will try to put dangerous things on the system. So they exploit vulnerability in the operating system, causing widespread damage to the consuming bandwidth or a overloading of the server. Okay, so some worms may dangerous payloads such as a ransomware. Ransomware was a big problem during the around 1.5 year to 2 years ago. So these are some of the examples of my worms. Trojan we already seen. Okay, they are the horses sitting on the system. They see the key log or key logger or the person who is typing on the key, they capture that information and transfer the information to the sender who has created the Trojan. Okay. So example like Titine, a window based banking Trojan activity since 2023 employing advanced technique for infection and evasion. So you can see that a lot of people are troubling on the system and then trying to find out the problem and the solution. PlugX, a remote access tool, RAT tool, okay, RAT tool, associated with server cyber espionage campaigns often targeting entire in Asia. We have Carbab, a banking Trojan known for stealing financial information from a infected host. So the basic idea of all this is when people are doing a financial transaction, especially in the hotel or making some bill payment through the Wi-Fi and things like that, they are vulnerable to the Trojan and then information will be leaked. Last year and before last year, we have seen the ransomware. So ransomware is a particular malicious type of malware that encrypt the victim's file, then demands a ransom money to restore the access. This was a big problem, and many of the organizations, they need to pay hefty amount to get that information, especially in the banking sector, especially in the financial sector or in insurance sector and things like that. So it holds the user's data hostage, often threatening to delete or publish it, and the ransom is not paid within a certain time frame. So it's like another kind of a human dacoity. Example like WannaCry, okay, a ransomware bomb that exploited Windows, okay, protocol and affected the system worldwide in 2017-18. NotPetya, that is destructive malware, initially masquerading as a ransomware designed primarily to damage and disrupt the entire system, and Hive, advanced malware associated with the apt group named Schaefer, primarily used for espionage activity. So you can see that people are looking for more of a monetary gain by spreading the kind of viruses. Spyware is a type of malware designed to spy on the system, okay, and is last time also I explained about this. So phone spy, Android spy and Pegasus, these are some of the examples of the spyware. Now what happens especially in the cloud? When you are using a data science or a cloud system using the data science or data science using the cloud, the problem is the cloud is somewhere in the world, location is not known, file system is not known, and many things are not known. So where from malware is coming and disturbing your entire thing is a big problem. So let us see how we did. So what are the techniques for malware detection? Signature based detection, first technique. Signature based detection on the cloud is the most common method for detecting malware. This technique involves identifying unique pattern or signatures in the code, okay, known as malware, and then scanning files to look for these signatures. Okay, when a match is found, the file is flagged to be flagged as a maliciously, okay, as a malicious file. However, signature based detection has its own limitation, for it can only identify a known malware. So, if a unknown malware is there, it is very difficult for this kind of system to identify. This means that if a new or altered version of malware is released, the system won't be able to recognize it until its signature has been added to the database. Secondly, malware developers are always finding ways to evade signature based detection by obfuscating or encryption or rendering their malware unrecognizable in the system. So, equal and opposite reaction. So, people are more intelligent to write the malware software, they will try to overturn the intelligent people. Another is a static file analysis, is a method used for malware detection. This technique involves analyzing a file without executing it to understand its behavior and identify its potential threat. Example is the internal structure, code and other metadata of the file. So, it is affecting on the operating system. The advantage of static file analysis is that it can detect malware without having to run the malicious code. Another advantage is that it can detect unknown malware using a technique like heuristic analysis, which involve making an educated guess about the maliciousness of a file based upon the characteristic. However, like signature based detection, static file analysis is also not a foolproof method. Some malware can disguise itself so that it can appear benign during a static analysis. However, it is not benign, it is not polite. Others can thwart static analysis by encrypting their code or by using another obfuscation technique. Apart from static, we have a dynamic malware detection on the cloud. So, dynamic malware analysis involves running a suspicious file in a controlled environment like a sandbox or observing its behavior. This method can reveal a lot about the malware functionality and potential damage it can cause. So, advantage of dynamic analysis is that it can discover malware that are static file against the signature, and it can provide a more complete picture of the behavior of the malware. Okay. However, dynamic malware analysis can be time consuming because it requires each and every file to be seen and require a more sophisticated setup and other methods of the tools. So, this is another technique. Then we have a beautiful, very simple, very old technique called the checksumming. So, checksum is a method used to verify the integrity of a file. So, what is checksum? The total sum of the content of the data are being added. So, along with the content of the file, a particular code will be generated, which is nothing but the sum of all the codes generated by the file. Along with that, some CRC information will also be added. So, that is the checksum. So, by calculating a checksum, a unique value will be derived from the file content, and comparing it with a known good checksum, you can determine if the file has been altered in any way. So, this is a example, a very old technique called checksum. Okay. So, checksumming is a simple and effective way to detect malware, especially if you have a baseline checksum for a comparison. However, it cannot detect the presence of the malware as per it goes on. Okay. So, therefore, it is usually in conjunction with other malware detection practices. Then the most of the practices which are prevalent existing in the cloud are application allow list and block list. Application allow listing will tell you allow those applications with a proactive approach to malware detection. By allowing only approved applications to run, you significantly reduce the risk of a malware infection. So, you sit down and allow those website or listing or number of pages to be seen on your system. So, it will not allow others to see others to get into the system, and it will try to have a minimum of the infection. However, this technique requires careful management and regular updating of the allow list to accommodate and be a safe application. Second is block listing, which is very popular. So, next malware detection technique is a block listing, which is essentially the opposite of a allow list. Instead of creating a list of trusted applications or website, you create a list of a known malicious or potentially harmful application. Any application on this list will be denied the access, protecting your system from the known threat. However, block list is reactive, and it depends on identifying and listing the malware after it has been discovered. Okay. So, it is effective against a known threat, but it cannot protect your system for a complete one. Okay. So, these are the two techniques which are very popular. Then we have a machine learning and behavior analysis, which I explained you last time also. Okay. Then What is the detection of malware in a cloud system? Okay, so what we call is a cloud native security services. So cloud computing environment are much more complex and much more dynamic than our traditional laptop, desktop or traditional networking. So this makes it more difficult to deploy anti-malware technology to ensure safe system safety and raising the need for a dedicated code native security solution. So cloud native security services are specially designed to protect and secure applications running on the cloud system, not on your computer, not on your laptop, not on your network. So these services are integrated with the cloud platform and offer a layer of security spanning across the cloud resources such as virtual machines, container, serverless functions and more and more. Some cloud native security services provide a real-time malware detection also. So all these things are possible, and some of the company they ask you to pay for it. However, a very good system, a very good technique is called as cloud access security broker, called as very popularly known as CSSB. Act as a gatekeeper between your on-premises infrastructure and the service provider. So this is more like our firewall in a traditional system. So they provide visibility to your cloud application and enforce security policy to protect your data. So naturally, when I have this kind of system, I will be able to protect my data in a better manner. So CSSB play a crucial role in malware detection by monitoring data traffic and file passing through the network or through the cloud. Okay, so it can identify sensitive data, access to the control and block the malicious code. So this is another technique which is very popular. Okay, then we have a cloud workstation, okay, protection platform, CWPP, provides security for workload running on the cloud, because cloud can run on different high load, sometimes peak load with a very high, sometimes load is low. Okay, so they offer security suite of security capabilities including malware detection, vulnerability management and network segmentation. So this is another technique called as cloud workload protection platform, which is available for all the major cloud service provider. Then we have cloud security posture management, CSPM tools. The tools are available where it can give you a idea about the management. How do you manage your file? How do you manage the information? How do you manage the visibility of your system and configuration on the cloud? So we have another technique called the CSPM tools which are available. What is the best practices to allow and detect the malware? So regular monitoring and auditing of cloud resources. So it is very important to keep a constant watch on your cloud environment and analyze the security logs, identify unusual activities and it indicate a malware attack. So regular monitoring will provide a real-time visibility which is much more prudent than the other thing. Implement a strong IAM policy, that is access control and management, or what we call identify access management. Who is going to access what kind of information? So this kind of privileges will help for a better security policy. So a strong IAM policy include principle like list privilege, where users are granted only the permission to need to perform such tasks like a printing of a file, printing of a bill and things like that, and segregation of the duty. So this strong IAM policy can also enforce a kind of a security on the cloud. Encryption, data address and transit. So we have already seen the data address and data in the transit in the streaming data analytics. Okay, so encryption on the data which is on the read or the transaction, you can do it and you can at least protect your system from the malware. Okay, keeping cloud software and supervise updated. This is where exactly we have to do. Keep our software updated. Go to the trusted website, get the updation done by the service provider, and it will give you a vital practices and services against the malware detection. Involves regularly updating your cloud platform, application and security tools to ensure that we have a latest security patch and features available. If you see Windows 10, 11, they go on updating. Okay, so this is the facility given by the Microsoft or any other service provider on the cloud. So by keeping your software and services updated, you can protect your system from known malware threat and enhance your capability to detect the new one. Regular update not only provide you with the latest security patches, but also introduce new security features and improvements. So, this only enhances your defense against a malware, but it also improves your overall security posture also. Regular updates to security software provide you with the latest threat intelligence, helping you to stay ahead of the evolving malware landscape. So, cloud based system have a lot of trouble, but there are a lot of solutions which are available, and how a data science has helped you create the safety guard on your system. This is the topic of our discussion. So, I am coming to the end of my discussion presentation, and I thank you for patience listening. Thank you.